everyone. Welcome to another great edition of the Jersey Baseball Show. We are talking with one of our proud New Jersey residents. New Jersey born and raised, and escaped a little bit, but came back. We're talking with NOAH CLEMENT, who is assistant coach at Widener University. Got a lot of directions we're going to go here. His journey to becoming a college coach, his journey as a player, some paths along the way, some Yankees talk, some other probably Baltimore Ravens. You know, Noah has never been shy about getting his opinion out and letting you know. So this is all good stuff here. We're happy to have you and welcome today, and happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays, Mike. It's great to be here. I'm excited I got a chance to come on. But yeah, no, I definitely like to stir the pot. You know that. So yeah, let's get after it.
The assistant coach, who I don't know why is not hosting his own podcast in sports radio and life radio. The next Joe Rogan.
Oh God,
but better.
We'll see about that. I think it might be you, Mike. But yeah, man, the podcast stuff, that's a lot of time that I don't have right now. But good for you. You're killing it.
But that's for good reasons, right? I mean, let's start off with where you're at now,
sure.
and how we got into the coaching ranks. You're still young. You're still, not far out of your playing days, and we'll get into that yourself.
Yeah.
But since June, on the initial staff of new permanent head coach Kevin Burdick, just finished his first year as an interim at Widener. You came on, I guess, beginning of June. And how did we get there? And how do we like the coaching world? And then we'll give you a little chance to promo and give us your pitch for Widener University, because there's a lot of good ball players out there listening.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, as you know, last year during COVID, I had opened a facility for a little bit, and it was just not sustainable throughout COVID. And, kind of right after that, I felt lost. It was the first time in my life where I really didn't have baseball. And I was kind of sitting there just thinking, and I was like, all right, well, I guess this is it, hang them up for whatever, coaching, playing. I'm done with baseball. How many times can baseball break your heart? And I was just sitting on the couch one day, and I got a text from an alumni from Widener, my really good friend, Brendan Taylor. And he was like, hey, Widener's looking for an infield guy. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't know why you're telling me this. Like, I have no, really didn't even think, coaching at college was obviously always like a dream of mine. It was just I never thought it would just fall on my lap like that. And he's like, I think it'd be really good for you. And I was like, all right, well, whatever. Sure. I'll text, Coach Burdick, and emailed him over my resume, got a call from him, and, he was pumped. He was pumped to bring me on right after the call. So it all kind of, happened. It just happened. And I'm so grateful for it. Honestly, I think it kept me in the game. I think if I didn't take the job, then I probably wouldn't be in baseball anymore. So, taking opportunities as they come are so important. And I notice I'm happier when I say yes to things and, kind of venture out of my comfort zone, especially, when I was that bored without baseball. But no, man, being on Widener staff's awesome. Being able to focus on infield is awesome, because that was, as a player, my bread and butter. And I value defense so much. And I think any good team does. So being able to work with the group of guys I have is incredible, day in and day out.
And working with Coach, I've been very impressed, since he took over, certainly, continuing a lot of the positive momentum that had been in place with Widener, but also kind of growing it in his own vision too.
Yeah. And, we obviously, coming from Coach LaRosa, who was there since I think 2000 or like mid 2000s.
Been doing an awesome job at Westchester now.
Yeah, and he's a great coach. So filling those shoes, those are big shoes to fill, especially at Widener. And he's done a great job, and he's not shied away from his own philosophies. He's kind of putting his own brand on it, and it's working. And we saw this fall what we can do, and the guys are buying in, and it's been really cool to kind of see the team transform. It's really a new program, and it's a talented one. So it's definitely an exciting time for Widener baseball right now.
So give me your sales pitch. You got to do some recruiting, I'm sure, in your job, and Widener obviously in a tough, highly competitive D3 conference, and you guys are in the Commonwealth Division.
MAC, yep.
Yep, right. So you're in the Commonwealth with Alvernia, with
York.
Lebanon Valley, with a lot of really strong teams.
Yeah.
Not selling the easiest of locations, obviously, in Chester.
Right.
But on the other hand, selling a program with a great history, a great present as well, a nice campus, nice facility. So how do we'll give you a chance to make your soundbite here and make Coach happy. Tell me how you get me to go to Widener.
Well, first of all, the academics at Widener are almost slept on. Our guys come out right away and get jobs. And I think, especially the baseball guys, the alumni in the baseball program really help our guys out, right out of school, whether it's in business or engineering. There's a lot of opportunities for our players to kind of, venture into whatever they want to do after college. And I know that's similar for a lot of schools, but a lot of guys work for the same company, so they're in constant communication. It's just like, it's cool to grow with your teammates, your family that you've been with, and enter the real world with them and whatnot. So I would say that's huge. Engineering at Widener is great. Business at Widener is great. Obviously nursing, but we don't usually get too many of those guys. But no, the academics are awesome, and the resources our students have are really, really great. But on the baseball side, I mean, you're getting a young and hungry coaching staff, and I think that's so important. I have guys on the team that are my age, so.
Yeah, with COVID, yeah. I'm sure.
Right. So it's definitely weird. But what I will say is that they're such a respectful group. I had come in there right away, and they didn't treat me like a equal. They treated me like a coach, and it was awesome. But the young and hungry coaching staff, man, we really just want to win. That's bottom line is develop and win. And in the fall we develop, and in the spring we win. And a lot of energy, man. We just bring a lot of energy. We saw it in the fall, Blue and Gold World Series. We just had, the competitiveness level was unbelievable, and the games were, really legitimate games. And it's cool to be a part of, because I think it makes everyone better, and it weeds out guys who don't want to be there. So, if winning's important to you, our staff is definitely aligned with that.
Why do we love D3 baseball so much? At least are those of us who are hardcore, and there's so much good D3 baseball and D2 baseball in our area that I don't think guys realize. Obviously not just the PSAC, but the Wideners and the other strong D3s in the area. And then you come over to New Jersey, and you got probably the best, or maybe second best D3 conference in the country with the NJAC.
Yeah.
Why do we love it so much? What would you say to guys who don't, who are like, D1 blessed, and that's it, right, or D1 or bust,
Yeah. I mean, you got to love baseball to play D3 baseball. I mean, I think it's as simple as that. At the D1 and D2 level, there is, scholarship opportunity. To choose a D3 over a D1 or D2, says a lot about a guy. It says that, they're there for baseball. They're there to win. They're there to get an education. Not saying that guys don't have that mentality at the D1, D2 level. But D3, it's just, you got to want to be there day in, day out. It's special. And the competition level is awesome. And I would say it's a little bit more offensive than, D1, D2. It makes it really fun to watch. And there's so much talent in D3 baseball in the area, just because it's so populated. Where I'm sitting right now, I could throw a rock to 5 pro guys. It's unreal. Especially like down here in South Jersey. So, you got the NJAC and over in the MAC, the influx of talent around this area is just unbelievable. From the D1 level to the D3 level. So, I was always a D2 and JUCO in college, but D3 baseball, man, guys got to realize how good college baseball is at anywhere you go. College baseball is good. Go watch Rowan play and tell me that you can go play. at Rowan. I mean, it's crazy. So the D1 or bust mentality is, I get it. Look, everyone wants to be a D1 ball player. But especially right now with all the, COVID rosters and rollouts, and now sophomores at the D3 level even have another year of eligibility. So rosters are packed and the opportunities really aren't there as much as they were, 4 or 5 years ago. So D3 baseball, it's good for D3 baseball because we're, getting guys that we normally would lose to the PSAC, or getting guys we normally lose to lower D1s, which is great for the conference and great for D3 baseball. But go watch a JUCO game, go watch D3 baseball, and if you're much better than those guys, then by all means go test your waters. But I really doubt it. Coming out of high school, I really doubt it.
So that leads me to kind of the next line here, and Noah the player. Went across the bridge, played at Roman Catholic, all PCL.
Yep.
You come out, you're at a top, D2 national program in Millersville.
Yeah.
A team that could compete against, anybody in the Northeast. They're just always loaded, and Coach Sheehan has done a remarkable job there. And what did you find out about your own game there? And then let's talk about the path that you took. Because it's not linear at all.
No, man, not at all.
But was a very successful one in not just, your career, but also kind of broadening your perspective on things.
Yeah, absolutely. So right out of high school, I mean, I was a really good high school hitter. I was a really good high school player, even, into travel ball. And I was going into Millersville very confident. And, I was there to win a job. Tyler Orris, who had been drafted by the Rockies, had just graduated. Shortstop was pretty much wide open. It was really me and another freshman. So I felt, going in, I had a really good opportunity to go there and play for 4 years and, hope win a national championship. That was the goal. And about 3 weeks into the fall, we had our scout day, and I was running the 60 and came out and then went to do the infield showcase, and my foot was just on fire. Like, it felt like someone had, lit my foot on fire. I went to the trainer. They told me I had turf toe, and I'm like, I don't think I have turf toe. So I'm going to go and get this checked out. I had a full tear of the Lisfranc ligament in my foot, which is, if you're playing football or basketball, it's normally a career killer. So I was, in a boot for a while, but even before that, when we were doing inter squads, the first thing I realized was, like, I am not very good at hitting. I felt overmatched.
High school hitting, and then there's college hitting, right?
It's totally different. You got to start worrying about talent can take over at the high school level. It doesn't at the college level. You need to understand how to hit, understand your approach, be consistent with your approach, and be strong mentally. But I don't think I got a hit my freshman fall before I hurt myself. So I realized very quickly how competitive it was. And I actually remember going there on my junior day before even, getting to campus. That was the year they came in, they were the national runner-up. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching Brandon Miller pitch against, I think his name was Enzo lefty from Westchester. And they were both just pro arms. Like, he's throwing 94, 95, hitting inner half, outer half, wipeout slider. I'm like, where am I? This is the middle, this isn't Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Brandon Miller pitching. You got Chaz McCormick out in center.
Oh yeah, I mean, we didn't even bring up Chaz McCormick.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, he's pretty good. But I mean, the guys on that team, Stolzfus, Dan Neff. I mean, the talent was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I learned very quickly that I needed to get better hitting. So once I got hurt, it almost seemed like the decision was easy. To go find somewhere and develop. Which, is how I ended up at Rowan Gloucester. And thank God I did, because if I didn't, I probably never would have learned how to hit. So super grateful for that, opportunity that Coach Valley gave me. But even going in there, man, I mean, I'm at shortstop with like 7 other guys at tryouts, and I'm like, am I even gonna make this team? Like, everyone here is so damn good. Like, we're at a JUCO in South Jersey, and these guys are studs. and from all over the place, Dominican
Yeah.
Republic, PA, North Jersey, South Jersey. It's like, how does this happen? But no, I mean, Gloucester development, for the fall was pretty incredible. And I really recommend the JUCO route for guys who, might be late bloomers or want to work on their game and play. It's rare to go to a 4-year school and play for 4 years. So, cut it in half, play for 2, and then go play for 2 more at a 4-year.
Yeah. And then to Pace University.
Yeah. Yep. Pace.
Your career finished out there and got to play in the NE10, right?
Yeah. And that was cool, man. The NE10 is, so my junior year, it was still a wood bat league.
Okay. I was going to ask you if that was,
Yeah.
if you were in the transition, right?
Yeah. So that was a huge,
that's just what you needed for your hitting is here's your wood bat, go hit this 90-92,
Well, here's the thing, Mike. Like, I couldn't explain it, and I always tell people, and people call me crazy, like, I hit better with wood. I always did. So when I was going through the recruiting trail and coming out of JUCO, I had a really good, bunch. I had from D1 to D3 to NAIAs. I had some really good, opportunities a lot of places, and I landed on Pace, obviously, because it's a great school. I got a really good degree and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, college baseball with wood, like, that's like a summer league. Like, that's cool. That's fun. So I wanted to try that out and challenge myself. And, in conference, we use wood, and I hit much better in conference than I did out of conference. So for whatever reason, I just simplified myself as a hitter when I used wood. I just, really tried to catch the baseball with the barrel. And that's kind of how I played it. But the NE10 was very competitive, very, very fun league to play in. And they don't really, not too many guys from around this area go NE10. It's a little more north, but certainly if you're listening to this, there's a lot of D2 opportunities up north, and it's just as cold up there as it is here. It's not. Everyone thinks, oh, like you're in New York, like it's freezing. I'm like, no, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same anyway.
As opposed to the 75 we got here this time of year, right?
Yeah, exactly. So do some
research to either place.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're in the recruiting pool, definitely reach out to some of those schools, because Franklin Pierce, Southern New Hampshire, these are great programs that if you throw in the PSAC, they're right at the top of it as well. So NE10's got some really good teams.
You mentioned something earlier. We're going to change paths a little bit about going after opportunities, and you're always happiest and most fulfilled when you say yes to these things. And it takes us down the direction of mental health, and something that we feel strongly about and fortunate enough to do some powerful things with recently on our show.
Absolutely.
Know that that's a thing for you as well. Short version, I guess, but tell us about your story there a little bit and what you've kind of learned and helped you along the way.
Yeah, sure. I just remember in high school, I had broken my arm, and it was the first time that I was watching my teammates play without me on the field. And I will never forget how I felt. I felt guilty for some reason. And I was very, very upset that I couldn't be out there. And it got to a point where I got really depressed, like really, really depressed. I wouldn't show up for practices anymore. I didn't want to be around baseball. And my mom had taken notice, and God bless her, because, I wouldn't have ever gone and done it myself. But I went to see a sports psychologist, and man, that's something that could really help a lot of guys. And then, coming off the injury, it's more mental than it is physical. You're healed up. You got to go out there and play, but you're afraid to go out there and play hard because you don't want to hurt yourself again. So, coming off that injury was a real wake up for me, realizing that, I'm not as mentally tough as I thought I was. This is really hard for me. And obviously struggled a little bit, and that sucks. But all the way out throughout college, man, I mean, I struggle with anxiety on the field, confidence waivers, and it's tough. Baseball's a tough game. And if you let it get to you, it'll ruin you. So staying on top of that, and I recommend sports psychology to anybody. because it really does change careers. I probably wouldn't have played college baseball if I had never gone to see my sports psychologist, just because I'm not sure that I would have cared as much as I did.
Yeah, and it's such a crazy game. I mean, it just, you're a star if you fail 70% of the time at the plate.
Yeah.
And it's just such a tough game to deal with, and it's every day. And that's,
Yeah.
if you don't and you suffer in silence, it just kind of it'll eat at you.
Well, and that's the thing. So many guys do suffer in silence, and that's part of the problem. Is guys feel like they're being judged if they're, or called soft if they're struggling mentally, and it eats away at a lot of guys. So, the one thing I will say is, like, if you're be a teammate, a good teammate is going to be supportive of those kind of guys. And we actually had touched upon this at a team meeting we had at Widener a couple weeks ago. Being vulnerable and understanding your teammates, because not everybody's motivated the same way. Like for me personally, I needed someone to expect the absolute most out of me. I needed to be ridden. I needed to be yelled at verbally. That's how I played. That's how I like to play. And some guys aren't like that. Some guys need a pat on the back and be like, hey, they need reassurance. You're a good ball player. Go play. But staying in the moment really, for me, was the biggest piece of that whole thing. Not even worrying about going over 4 today and then having to go back and do it tomorrow. Because if you think like that, it's going to happen. And then you're going to come back the next day and dig yourself a deeper hole, and then dig yourself a deeper hole. It's just, it'll never end. If you don't combat it, it'll never end. So like staying in the moment and having fun, realizing that you're playing a game, you get to play a game every day. It's the best game, and it's such an opportunity. So, that was really big for me to understand. Playing in the moment is taking it one pitch at a time is really important mentally.
Going to hit you with a couple of quick topics before we have to depart for today.
Sure.
Because we know you'll never have a strong opinion on any of this, I'm sure. MLB lockout.
Oh God, I knew you were going to bring it up.
These are 60 seconds or less. These are quickies, but I don't know if it's possible. But the biggest thing that you notice or think about as far as what Rob Manfred's done to the game right now.
Well, I mean, Rob Manfred, obviously, you can say whatever you want about him. I think the biggest thing that's come out of all this that no one's talking about is the fact that he's using 2 different baseballs for primetime games and non-primetime. I mean, what are we doing, Mike? That's like literally the commissioner in Deflategate. I don't understand how he has a job. I really don't understand how he has a job. And if we come out of the lockout with Manfred still as commissioner, the game is just the game's in a bad place. It's in a bad place, but the owner agreed, the lockout. It's what are you going to do? I mean, I obviously know a lot more than we do as fans, but it's frustrating, especially being so close to COVID. We want baseball. And I think this year you saw the ratings were up. Everyone was like, oh yeah, baseball's back. So I don't think people really realize how much they love baseball until it's gone. And I really hope this, spring training starts on time. Cause I mean, me, I'll sit here and watch baseball. I wait for the West Coast games to end before I go to bed. So I really hope they can figure something out, because I can't go another 6 months without the Yankees.
Give me your 60-second fix for the Yankees, because I have a feeling losing the wild card game isn't acceptable.
Well, I was there. It was one of the worst days ever. I was in Fenway with all Red Sox fans, and that was definitely a tough one. Our $340 million pitcher just getting absolutely shelled.
Yeah.
But my fix for the Yankees, let's see. Not everybody has to be a 3 total outcome guy. You can survive with 1, maybe 2, but I mean, Gallows stinks. I mean, I can't get over the fact that I go on Twitter and people talk crap about Derek Jeter and then praise Joey Gallo. Gary Sanchez is a liability behind the dish. So you need a catcher, you need an outfielder, you need a shortstop. You got to boost the rotation. Our center, we don't have a center fielder. Aaron Hicks, our center fielder. I mean, what's going on? Aaron Hicks is hitting 200 in Dominican ball right now, and people are happy because he's walking. I mean, sure, great, but come on. So fixing the Yankees, I mean, Boone, don't even get me started, but they need contact. They need athleticism. They got no athleticism.
I've always thought you needed to be strong up the middle, and you need to have dudes up the middle to win. And they're
precisely
3 out of 4 positions. They're just not getting it done. I don't see how that team wins.
I don't either at all. They got no catcher, no shortstop, no center fielder. It's mind blowing. And
only the 3 most important positions, I think.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, for the most, and also we have a vacancy at first base now. I don't know if the whole thing was planning on trading for Olsen, and we figured that was going to happen before the lockout, and now that's not happening. And I'm a guy who values first base defense incredibly. I really do. I think a good first baseman is crucial, because you saw what Rizzo brought to the Yankees halfway through the season, compared to Luke Voit, who can't catch anything. So catcher, shortstop, center field, first base. It's like, we're the Yankees. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, go out and get guys. And then you got Hal saving up all his money and charging $25 for chicken buckets. It's just he's actually the reason the lockout's happening. When the revenue they bring in compared to payroll is so above and beyond every other team. And we just go out and give Carlos Correa $350. Like, who cares? Just go do it. It's a nightmare.
All right, we got football. We got Ravens for some reason. I'm not sure why you're a Ravens fan, so you can tell us that. But
I actually grew up in Baltimore.
Okay, all right. Then that's legit. I mean, they're always good, but can they beat the Patriots this year? And it seems like we're still saying was it Tom Brady or Bill Belichick? And the answer is yes, it was Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
It's unreal. I think I put out a tweet a couple of days ago. It was like, the Patriots really went from a 20-year dynasty to one bad year to another 20-year dynasty. And that's what it feels like. It's I can't imagine being a Dolphins fan.
It was bad enough when the two of them were together and only dominating football with one team. Now it's 2 teams.
Yeah, man. It's wild. I don't know if Tom Brady's ever going to retire. I really just don't. But no, I mean, the fact that the Ravens were the 1 seed if the season ended last week, a week ago.
They've given up more points than they'd scored, right?
Oh, they stink, Mike. They can't tackle. They got no corners. They got no run. Devontae Freeman is like all we have. We have Devontae Freeman and Lamar Jackson, and we had Marlon Humphrey. Now he's out for the year. They can't catch. I think they got 17 guys on the IR. It's
like the worst Ravens team I remember seeing.
Somehow they're still. Yeah, I don't know. They could easily be. I mean, I know there is something to say about winning close games. I mean, that does show, coaching. Harbaugh's great. But they could legitimately be like 2-10 or 2-10 right now. I mean, really, they barely beat the Lions. I mean, they barely beat any team they play.
It took a 66-yard field goal to beat the Lions.
Yeah, literally. It's funny. I was at a recruiting event during that, and there's a video. I got to find the video. I'll send it to you. I'm sitting back there, and it's over to fourth quarter. We're watching the game, like me and all the coaches, just prime time moment in the game, and everyone just like looking over my shoulder, looking at my phone, and it goes up. It hits the crossbar, and it goes up, and like everyone just goes like spurts out, like goes nuts. You're like, holy crap, like 66 yards, that's insane. But no, man, the Ravens stink. We're going nowhere this year. It's gonna be a 1 and out if we make the playoffs. I think the Bengals are better. I think the Browns are just as good, and Steelers beat it. So
Patriots were Chiefs and Tampa were Green Bay, right?
I mean, and we go out and dominate the Chiefs. I mean, what? I just don't get sports. I don't know why I invest so much into sports. It makes no sense to me. But
else makes sense either. So why should that? We've had unfortunately we got to cut it short here today, but NOAH Clement, certainly appreciate the time. Let's do it again soon. Let's get on and get some more guys over to Widener. Let's get Bryce French and hitting some bombs this year. I'm putting you in charge, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Yeah, Bryce had a good fall, man. He's gonna have a really good season.
He's a big boy. He's gonna, he can hit him.
He's fun to watch. Sure.
That's our show today, Jersey Baseball Show. We look forward to catching you next time.
See you guys.